The Grand Arena of Zorinth Prime was the largest stadium in the galaxy. It floated in space above a gas giant, glowing with bright lights and strange colors. Every year, the strongest warriors from different planets came here to fight in the Conquest Games. Billions of aliens filled the seats, watching the event live. Giant holograms showed the battle on every corner. This was more than a game. It was a show of power, strength, and pride. Today, something unusual was happening. A human had joined the games for the first time. The alien crowd was already laughing. Before the fight even started, a human? Are they serious? Wait. Is that small thing even a soldier? He will last 5 seconds at best. Their laughter grew louder when Princess Zelia of the Vargothia Empire entered the arena. She was nearly 8 feet tall, wearing black and silver battle armor that moved like it was alive. Her skin shimmered like polished stone. Eyes glowed, blue with psionic energy. A long spear of plasma crackled in her hand. Zelia was a living weapon, a royal warrior. She had never lost a fight. The announcer's voice echoed across the arena from the mighty Vargothi Empire. Princess Zelia. The crowd roared with cheers, chanting her name. Then the voice changed, and from a small, unknown planet called Earth, Marcus Hale. The cheers stopped. Silence. Then came the laughs again. Marcus walked into the arena, calm and quiet. He wore light armor, simple and scratched from old battles. No shiny weapons, no glowing eyes. Just a tired-looking man in his 30s with a short beard and a scar over one eyebrow. He looked up at Zelia. She looked down at him like he was a bug. "This is your best?" she asked, smirking. "You can't last a minute against me, human." Marcus shrugged. "We'll see." The arena changed shape. The floor shook. Metal walls dropped away. Lava began to bubble from cracks. The battlefield was now a volcanic hellscape. Sharp rocks, fire pits, and ash-filled skies. A timer appeared in the air. 60 seconds, Zelia twirled her spear and pointed it at Marcus. "I'll end this fast." The horn sounded. The fight began. Marcus didn't charge. He didn't even move forward. He sidestepped. Zelia shot forward like a missile. Her spear sliced through the air with lightning speed. She was faster than anyone Marcus had ever seen. But he didn't try to block her. He dropped flat, rolled, and ducked behind a tall rock. The spear slammed into the stone. Exploded. Marcus kept moving. Quiet. "Careful. Run, little human." Zelia shouted, laughing. "Hide if you want. I'll still crush you." She sent a wave of psionic energy from her hand. It lifted a giant chunk of rock and hurled it toward Marcus. He dove. Dust flew. His suit took a hit, but held. From behind another rock, Marcus opened a small pouch on his belt. Inside were small metal balls, EMP charges. Old tech, but reliable. He tossed it toward her feet. They rolled. She didn't notice them until they beeped, pop. A burst of electromagnetic energy disrupted her armor sensors. Her HUD blinked for a second. Just a second, but Marcus moved in that second. He dashed across the field, sliding under her guard, slicing with a combat knife. Not a deep cut, just enough to make her bleed. Zelia looked down at her arm in shock. "You cut me?" she whispered, angry now. "You dare?" Marcus was already gone. The crowd was no longer laughing. They leaned forward, surprised. He dodged her first strike. He made her bleed. Is this human smarter than he looks? Leah stopped playing. She focused her mind. Her body glowed with blue light. Force fields spread around her. She lifted into the air, rocks floating beside her. "You want to play games?" she shouted. "Let's see how you like this." She slammed her spear into the ground. A shockwave exploded in every direction. Marcus was thrown back, crashing into a jagged wall. He groaned, standing slowly. Blood ran down his face. But he was smiling. "Now we're talking," he said. The timer hit 0:38. Zelia came again, this time with fury. Her strikes were wild, fast, deadly. Marcus blocked with a short blade, barely hanging on. Then he dropped a smoke bomb. Black fog filled the air. She spun her spear to clear it, but he was already gone again. From the mist, his voice echoed. You know, for a perfect warrior, you sure get mad easy. She screamed and stabbed at the sound. Nothing, he was using distraction tactics. Battlefield misdirection. She wasn't used to this. The timer hit 0:52. Suddenly, Marcus leaped from above, from a ledge. He tackled her midair, sending both crashing into the lava rock below. He rolled away before she could grab him. They both stood up panting. Zelia's armor was cracked now. Her pride to Marcus was bleeding from his shoulder. But he still smiled. Seconds left, he said. Still think I won't last? Zelia roared and charged. The timer hit 0:59. Marcus stood his ground at the last second, bent low, kicked her leg, and used her speed against her. She stumbled forward, off balance. A spear flew from her hand. He caught it midair and just, as the clock struck 60 seconds, he tossed it back to her feet. Time's up, Marcus said. The arena was completely silent. Then came the cheers, not just from humans watching through broadcast, but from alien species who loved a good fight. Even those who hated humans had to admit it now. This one could fight. Princess. Zelia stared at Marcus, her face unreadable. She picked up her spear slowly, then nodded. You surprised me, human? Doesn't happen often. Marcus gave her a small nod. Glad I could help. The grand arena still shook with the cheers of the crowd. Everyone was talking about the human Marcus Hale, who had survived 1 full minute against the undefeated alien warrior, Princess Zelia. For many, it was just a miracle. For others, it was a warning. Inside the arena, Marcus stood still. He wiped blood from his mouth with the back of his hand. His right shoulder was bruised, and his armor was scratched badly, but his eyes were calm, focused. Across from him, Princess Zelia stood tall. Her black armor was cracked in places. Her pride had taken the worst hit. No one had ever lasted that long against her, not even warriors from advanced warlike planets. But a human? That was new. The announcer's voice echoed again. Due to the unexpected draw, the battle will continue. No weapons, no tricks, pure skill. The arena began to change. The floor shook. Lava disappeared. Rocks melted away. Appeared, this time, a floating arena made of broken platforms and pillars. No gravity, just empty space. Zero gravity combat. Marcus cursed under his breath. Just my luck. Zelia smirked. She was trained for zero-G fighting since she was 10 years old. Her psionic control let her move through space like she had wings. Marcus, on the other hand, was an Earth soldier. He'd trained in low gravity, but not like this. Ready to float, little man? She said, slowly lifting into the air. Marcus activated his mag boots and launched upward using his suits. Small jetpack burst. It wasn't graceful, but it worked. They began to circle each other in the air. Zelia struck first. She flew forward like a missile, her fists glowing with psionic energy. She threw a punch. Marcus barely blocked it, spinning through the air like a rag doll. He slammed into a broken pillar and used it to kick off in another direction. Zelia chased him, fast and silent. She threw a kick this time. It missed. Marcus twisted and used her momentum against her. He grabbed her wrist and flipped her over his back. They tumbled together through space. Zelia recovered quickly. Her psionics glowed brighter now, a blue aura surrounding her whole body. Was starting to get serious? Marcus adjusted his breath. Okay. She's faster. Stronger. Glows like a Christmas tree. Great. He floated toward a floating metal beam and kicked off, flying toward her. She raised her hand, ready to blast. Him with energy, but she paused. The judges said no powers. Only hand to dash hand. She gritted her teeth and met him midair. They clashed like two comets, bodies spinning and colliding in silence. For a moment, time felt slow. Every move they made had to be planned in advance. In zero gravity, every punch could push you backward, every block could spin you out of control. Marcus remembered his old ZOG training. Anchor, counter, redirect. He grabbed Zelia's forearm as she punched and pulled her into a knee strike. she grunted. He rolled over her shoulder, grabbed her leg, and flipped her into a nearby wall. The impact left a small dent in the wall. She bounced off, angry now. "You are not like the others," she said. "I get that a lot," Marcus replied, spinning to avoid her next punch. The fight went on for several more minutes, back and forth. Hit and dodge. Block and counter. Marcus wasn't stronger than her, not even close. But he was used to chaos, used to things going wrong. He used every part of the floating battlefield, metal beams, broken walls, loose cables as tools. He kicked a cable into Zelia's path. She caught it, but that pause gave Marcus the chance to strike with a solid elbow to her ribs. She growled and grabbed him, spinning him through space and slamming him into a floating chunk of metal. "Enough," she shouted, furious. She tried to use her powers again, but the shock collar around her neck buzzed. A warning. No powers. She let out a breath and glared at Marcus. "You're not just fighting. You're surviving." Marcus nodded. "That's what humans do." On the outside, the Galactic Council members watched in silence. A tall insectoid general leaned forward. "This human, he fights with no honor." Another alien, a small reptilian diplomat, shook his head. "No, he fights to win." "That's worse." Somewhere deep in the audience, a human ambassador smiled. "That's Marcus Hale for you." Back in the arena, Marcus was running low on energy. His suit's jet boost was down to 15%. His left leg was stiff. He had taken 3 hard hits to the chest. Zelia wasn't much better. Her movements were slower, her breathing heavy. Still her spirit burned like fire. "You won't beat me, human," she said. "Ash, no one does." Marcus floated across from her, drifting slowly now. "Then, I guess today's your first bad day." They clashed again. This time, Zelia landed a clean hit. A punch, straight to Marcus's gut. He gasped, bent over in pain, and spun away. She came at him again, fists raised, ready to end it. But Marcus wasn't aiming to fight her head-on anymore. He remembered something from earlier when she spun to dodge. Her armor had a slight delay in adjusting position. Not much, but enough. He baited a swing, dodged, then twisted in midair and grabbed her from behind. Zelia tried to throw him off, but Marcus wrapped a steel cord around her arms and legs, a restraint tool from his belt. She thrashed, kicked, spun. Marcus activated the cord lock. They both crashed into a floating wall and bounced off, tangled together. Finally, they hit another platform and stopped. Silence, both of them breathing hard, both of them bleeding, neither of them moving. The announcer's voice returned. "Combatants have both been grounded. Status, stalemate." The audience didn't cheer right away. They waited. Then, slowly, a wave of applause started. First from a few aliens. Then more. Then a roar louder than ever before. A human had gone hand to hand with the strongest warrior princess in the galaxy. Didn't lose. Zelia sat up slowly, her face bruised, lip bleeding. She looked at Marcus beside her, still coughing from the last punch. "You are stubborn," she said. Marcus wiped blood from his mouth. "I'm a human. It's what we're good at." She laughed. Wasn't mocking this time. For the first time in her life, she wasn't angry about being challenged. She was impressed. "You fought smart, dirty, clever. I like that." Marcus nodded, lying flat now. "Glad to hear it, because I'm too tired to run." Zelia looked up at the stars above. "You lasted more than a minute, human. You made me bleed. You made me try." Marcus gave a small grin. "You weren't so bad yourself, princess." Back in the viewing chamber, the Galactic Council argued. Some believed Marcus cheated. Others said he earned respect. One elder spoke above the rest. "Whether you like it or not, the humans are not weak. They are not slow, and they are not afraid." There was silence. Then the votes were cast. Earth was officially accepted as a full member of the Galactic Council, as Marcus and Zelia were lifted out of the arena by Madrones. She leaned toward him. "One day, we fight again. No rules, no limits." Marcus smiled, eyes half closed, looking forward to it. The Medrones floated above the arena, carrying both Marcus Hale and Princess Zalia to the healing bay. Their bodies were bruised, muscles sore, armor cracked, but their eyes were alive with fire. Neither of them had truly won the fight, but neither had lost either. That was rare. In the Vargathi Empire, Princess Zelia had never been touched in combat. And now, a human, a species most aliens considered weak, had made her bleed, made her angry. She sat on the medpod bed looking at her reflection in the screen. A bruise on her jaw, blood at the corner of her lip, and a smile on her face. In another room, Marcus sat shirtless, his chest wrapped in healing gel. His shoulder had a deep purple bruise, and a cracked rib poked at every breath. The medbot beeped. Human soldier, 62% damage. Mental activity, stable. Sarcasm levels, high. Marcus chuckled, then coughed. Sarcasm's part of recovery, Doc. He lay back, eyes closing, body resting, but his mind stayed alert. He knew what was coming. That fight in the arena? That was just the beginning. The Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. Many races were angry. The human cheated. One shouted he used dirty tactics, another added, but others disagreed. He followed the rules. He survived the princess. That alone is worthy of respect. In the middle of the chamber, a large screen showed clips from the battle. Marcus dodging, flipping, using the battlefield. Zelia chasing, attacking with speed and skill. The final moment when both crashed into the wall, wrapped in combat, refusing to give up. The galaxy hadn't seen such a fight in centuries. The council leader, a wise old creature with 3 heads, spoke at last. "We have underestimated the humans," it said. "This changes everything." Back in the healing bay, Princess Zelia stood, fully recovered. She pressed a hand to the wall and gave a silent command. The metal shifted and opened a private chamber. Inside was her personal war room, a space only she had access to, glowing. Screens filled the walls. Each showed different species, combat styles, war records. And in the center, a full file on Marcus Hale. She watched his training footage. Earth's military files. Jungle fights, urban warfare, guerrilla tactics. Had fought in 23 battles, won 23. Not because of power, she whispered, because of patience. Precision. She turned off the screens, then gave a command. "I want him back in the arena. No rules." Final trial. Meanwhile, Marcus sat with the Earth's ambassador in a private room. "You did well, soldier," the ambassador said. "You've made Earth proud." Marcus didn't smile. "This isn't over. She wants a rematch." "How do you know?" "'Cause I would." The ambassador sighed. "She's dangerous. So am I." Later that day, the announcement came. The final battle will take place in the core arena. No rules, no restrictions. Fight until one stands. The galaxy held its breath. No warrior had ever been granted a rematch in the same tournament. But this was different. This was history. The galaxy wanted blood. The galaxy wanted truth. Could a human defeat a Vargathi princess without limits? 12 hours later, the core arena was not like the others. It was ancient, built inside the asteroid heart of a dead star. The walls were black steel. The floor shimmered with electric light. And above, instead of a sky, was a giant energy core, pulsing like a beating heart. This was where true warriors fought. This was where legends were. Maid Marcus walked in first. His armor was repaired sleeker, lighter. He had no jetpack, no EMPs, only a combat knife, shock gloves, and an old Earth military badge stitched onto his chest. Princess Zelia entered from the other side. She had removed her royal armor. Now she wore only a simple black combat suit. Spear, no crown, just her. They stood 10 meters apart. The crowd was silent. Even the cameras didn't buzz. Just tension, just energy. Zelia spoke first. I watched your war footage. Fight like an animal. No style, no honor. Marcus smirked. I fight to win, not to dance. Her lips curled into a smile. Then let's see who walks out. The horn sounded. The fight began. Zelia struck first. No more holding back. She unleashed a blast of pure psionic force. It tore through the air, cracking the ground. Marcus dove behind a pillar. The explosion scorched his side. She flew toward him, fists glowing. He blocked, barely. Sparks flew. He ducked. She spun. A kick grazed his face. Blood flew. He rolled, grabbed a metal rod from the ground, and swung. It clanged against her side. She winced, but barely. She caught the rod mid-air and snapped it in half. Marcus backed up. Breathing hard, she followed. For 5 long minutes, they fought, punch, kick, blast. Marcus used everything, walls, debris, shadows. Zelia used speed, power, energy. It was not a fair fight, but Marcus made it one at one point. She grabbed his arm and lifted him into the air. I could crush you right now, she said. Marcus reached into his boot and pulled out a mirror shard. Something he had picked up earlier from the broken arena floor. He flashed it in her eyes. She blinked. A second. Enough. He twisted, broke free, slammed her into the ground. They stood again, both shaking, both bloodied. Zelia's psionic glow faded. Her energy was running low. Marcus's vision blurred. He had a cracked rib, a dislocated shoulder, and a deep cut on his forehead. Still, neither stepped back. Then something strange happened. Zelia paused. She looked at him. Really looked. You should have lost already, she said. I don't know how, Marcus replied, steady. She lowered her hands. I don't want to kill you anymore. Marcus blinked. She smiled. Not cruel, not mocking, but respectful. You are more than just a soldier. You're a symbol. She stepped back. I yield. The arena lights flashed red. The crowd gasped. Combatant Zelia yields. Victory to Marcus, hail of earth.
Silence.
Then an explosion of cheers, not just from humans. From aliens too? From soldiers. From thinkers. From anyone who had ever been underestimated. Marcus dropped to one knee, exhausted. Zelia walked to him and offered a hand. He took it. She helped him stand. Together, they raised their hands in the air. From that day forward, Marcus Hale was not just a soldier. He was a legend. And Princess Zelia. She was no longer just a warrior. She became the first Vargothi royal to say, humans are not weak. They are not soft. They are not prey. They are dangerous and worthy. The roar of the crowd in the core arena still echoed in the minds of everyone who had watched the fight between Marcus Hale and Princess Zelia. The galaxy had witnessed a moment that would be remembered for centuries, but the real battle was just beginning. Days after the fight, Marcus was back on Earth, sitting in a quiet room at the Earth Space Command headquarters. His body was healing, but his mind raced faster than ever. The battle had changed him. He felt different, stronger, yet more aware of the galaxy's dangers. He was not just a soldier anymore. He was a symbol. A reminder that even the smallest, weakest species could challenge the mightiest. Meanwhile, far away in the Vargothi Empire, Princess Zelia was also changing. She was no longer just the warrior princess who ruled by strength and fear. She wanted to understand Marcus and the humans better. She called a meeting of her most trusted advisors. We must learn from the humans, she said. They are different, yes, but they survive. They adapt. They fight with heart. One of her generals frowned. They're primitive. They use tricks, not honor. Zelia shook her head. Oh, they use will. And that is something we have. Forgotten. Back on Earth, Marcus received a strange message. It was an invitation. It's not a challenge. Not a threat. A simple request from Princess Zelia. Come to the Vargothi Empire. Learn what it means to be a warrior in my world. Marcus looked at the message twice, and he smiled. 2 weeks later, Marcus found himself on a massive Vargothi cruiser heading toward the heart of the Empire. The ship was filled with soldiers, diplomats, and strange alien technology. He was nervous, but ready. When he landed, Zelia greeted him personally. "You survived the arena," she said, "but now you will learn the true meaning of strength." Marcus nodded. "I'm here to learn." The next days were a whirlwind of training and lessons. Zelia taught Marcus the ancient ways of the Vargothi, the art of psionics, the discipline of mind and body, the importance of honor and control. Marcus shared his own experiences, guerrilla tactics, human resilience, and the strength of unity. They trained together in the massive warrior halls, sparred in the zero-gravity chambers, and meditated in the serene gardens. Slowly, they began to respect each other more deeply. One evening, as the twin moons of the Vargothi Empire rose high, Zelia took Marcus to a sacred place, the Hall of Ancestors. It was a grand chamber filled with the statues and stories of the greatest warriors of their history. "This is where we remember," Zelia said softly. "Our strength comes from those who came before." Marcus looked at the statues. They were fierce and proud, but also tired. "They fought to protect their people," Zelia continued. "But sometimes they forgot to listen, to understand." Marcus nodded. "That's why I'm here, to build something new." Next day, the Vargothi leaders gathered to meet Marcus. Many of them still doubted him. A high-ranking general challenged Marcus to prove himself. "Your fight was luck," he sneered. "Here, you will face real battle." Marcus accepted the challenge. They fought fiercely. The general was strong and fast, but Marcus used his wit and endurance. In the end, Marcus stood victorious. The room was silent. Then the leader of the council spoke. "You have earned our respect." But the lessons were not just about fighting, Marcus. Learned about the Vargothi people, their history, their fears, their hopes. He saw that beneath the warrior spirit was a desire for peace, and he shared stories from Earth about cooperation, forgiveness, and the strength of working together, slowly. Marcus and Zelia worked to build a new alliance between Earth and the Vargothi Empire. One day, as they trained in the zero-gravity chamber, Marcus asked Zelia, "Why did you invite me here? After all the hate, all the fighting?" Zelia paused. "Because you are not like other humans," she said. "You fight, yes, but you also listen, you learn." Marcus smiled. "That's what makes us human." Their friendship grew stronger, built on trust and shared experiences. But not everyone was happy. Some within the Vargothi Empire plotted to break the new alliance. They saw Marcus and his ideas as a threat to the old ways. One night, the alarms sounded in the palace. Marcus and Zelia were rushed to the command center. The rebel faction had launched a surprise attack. It was chaos. Ships fired lasers into the sky. Soldiers clashed in the halls. Marcus grabbed his combat knife. Zelia summoned her psionic shield. Together, they fought side by side. The battle was brutal. Marcus led the Earth. Soldiers with skill and courage, Zelia commanded the Vargothi warriors with strength and wisdom. Despite being outnumbered, they fought. With a unity never seen before, slowly, they pushed the rebels back. After hours of fighting, the rebels were defeated. The palace was damaged, but still standing. Marcus and Zelia stood together, breathing hard but victorious. Zelia looked at Marcus. "We could not have done this without you." Marcus nodded. "And I couldn't have done it without you." The rebellion was over, but the lesson remained. Strength was not just about power. It was about trust, respect, and unity. Marcus returned to Earth with a new purpose. He was no longer just a soldier. He was a bridge between worlds, and Princess Zelia became a new kind of leader, one who believed that even the strongest warrior must sometimes learn to listen. The war was over, but the galaxy was still restless. Rebel voices whispered in dark corners. Old enemies watched from the shadows. Some aliens still saw humans as weak. Others feared them now. But for the first time in history, the name Marcus. Hail was spoken with both respect and caution across the stars, and beside that name was another. Princess Zelia, the warrior who once believed humans were beneath her. Now, She called one of them her friend. Marcus stood on the viewing deck of the Starbridge station, a massive space base floating between Earth and Vargothi territory. It was the first joint project between humans and the Vargothi, a place for trade, peace talks, and military cooperation. Ships from 100 different worlds docked here. Flags from both civilizations flew side by side, but it was still fragile, like glass between storms. Celia arrived that day with her elite guard. She didn't wear her armor. She didn't carry her spear, just a dark cloak and a sharp gaze. Marcus met her at the docking bay. "Didn't think I'd see you again so soon," he said with a small smile. Zelia raised an eyebrow. "Trouble never waits long." They walked together through the station's long corridors. In the main chamber, ambassadors from dozens of species gathered. Everyone was watching Marcus and Zelia. The peace treaty was on the table. The final version, and months of talks, arguments, and late-night messages had built it. Now, all that remained was the signature. Zelia stood tall. High Princess Zelia of the Vargothi Empire signed this treaty in honor of new friendship and shared strength. She looked at Marcus. He nodded and took the pen. "I, Captain Marcus Hale of Earth, signed this treaty not as a warrior, but as someone who learned respect from a worthy enemy." The crowd burst into applause. History had been made, but not everyone clapped. In the shadows of the crowd, a figure watched. He wore no badge, no flag, just cold eyes and a quiet fury. His name was Commander Joran, leader of a secret faction called the Purge, made up of Vargothi traditionalists and warlords. They believed strength came only from conquest. Peace to them was weakness. And Marcus Hale, he was a problem that needed to be erased. Later that night, as the station celebrated, Marcus stood alone in the observation deck watching Earth's blue glow in the distance. He heard a soft sound behind him. "Zelia, you should be resting," he said. She smiled faintly. "So should you?" They stood in silence for a while. Zelia finally spoke, voice low. "I used to believe strength meant never needing help, that asking for peace was giving up." Marcus turned. "What changed? You did?" Suddenly the lights flickered, the station trembled. A loud alarm blared. Security breach. Unauthorized boarding. Marcus and Zelia looked at each other. No words were needed. They ran. Armed soldiers poured into the station's halls. The symbol of the Purge was painted on their armor. A red fang inside a black star. They fired at anything that moved. Civilians screamed. Ambassadors were rushed into safe rooms. Marcus ducked behind a corner and took down 2 invaders with precision shots. He grabbed a dropped rifle and tossed a pistol to Zelia. She caught it with ease. "You sure you're not human?" Marcus joked. "I'm better," she smirked. Together, they moved like fire, through corridors, down lift shafts, across the command deck. Their goal: stop the invaders before they reached the power core. If the core was breached, the station and everyone on it would be lost. They reached the core chamber. Breathless, Joran was already there, setting charges with a group of elite rebels. He turned when he saw them. Of course. "The traitor princess and her pet human," he sneered. "You've lost," Zelia said, stepping forward. "No," Joran replied. "You did. The moment you let a weak race like humans infect your mind." Marcus raised his weapon. "You first?" A brutal firefight broke out. Joran's team was trained. Deadly. But Marcus and Zelia were a force of their own. Zelia moved like lightning, her psionic energy creating shockwaves. Marcus fought smart, low, fast, sharp, which covered the others. Back soon, only Joran remained. He stood bleeding, one arm hanging useless. "This isn't over," he hissed. Zelia stepped forward. "Yes, it is." She struck him down. Silence returned. The core was safe. The station still stood, and peace had survived. Barely later, as the sun rose over Earth's curve, Marcus and Zelia sat in the upper deck lounge, sipping warm drinks. Their uniforms were torn, bandages on their arms. But they smiled. "You saved my life again," Marcus said. "Call us even," Zelia replied. He looked at her. So what now? She shrugged. We rebuild. We protect what we've made. Marcus nodded. Together. She smiled. Always. Over. The next few weeks, news of the attack spread across the stars, but so did news of what happened after. The galaxy saw something it had never seen before. Humans and Vargothi rebuilding together, sharing patrols, teaching combat side by side, trading culture, stories, and ideas. The old fears began to fade. Slowly, but they faded. 1 month later, Marcus was promoted to commander of Earth's Galactic Defense Force. Zelia became High Protector of Unity Affairs. In the Vargothi Empire, and once a year, they met not as enemies, not just as allies, but as friends. The galaxy had changed, because one human refused to give up, because one warrior princess chose respect over pride, because two enemies became a symbol of something greater. In the training halls of Earth New, soldiers were taught the Hail Method. In the schools of Vargothi, children studied the Zelia Code. And across 1,000 stars, when someone said, "You can't last a minute against me, human," the answer would always be, "Then, you don't know what we're made of."